Good morning, boys and girls. Happy Friday. Today you're going to need again your calendar, your ThinkMark bookmark, and your Post-it notes or a piece of paper. Let's take a look at our calendar. Today is Friday, so we want to see if we can reach that weekly goal. I have already read 24 books this week. So if I want to get to my goal of 30, how many more do I have to read? 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. That means if I want to get my goal before the weekend, I have to read 6 books today. I think I can do it if I stay really focused. All right, so today we're going to talk about another new ThinkMark. We're going to talk about an unknown word ThinkMark. Sometimes when we're reading books, we might come across a word that we don't know what it means. And after we decode the word and we read it just right, we might not know what that word means. And this can happen in fiction and in nonfiction books. A lot of times when I'm reading nonfiction books, I learn a lot of new words because those are books that are teaching me about new things. When we come across an unknown word, there are 3 or 4 different things that we can do to help us figure out what the word means. We can keep reading and see if on the page it gives us more information about the word. We can check the back of the book to check the glossary and see if there's a definition in the glossary of the book. If I'm reading on Epic, sometimes I can click on the word and it can tell me what the word means. Or I could ask a grown-up for some help to let me know what the word means. Sometimes when we see a word for the first time, we might need to ask an adult for help to help us know what that word means. Now today we're going to read a book called Hippopotamuses. And we're going to read this book on Epic today. Now remember, before we even start, take a look at those ThinkMarks and see if there's any ThinkMark that you could use. Maybe you have a question about a hippopotamus that you're hoping you get answered today. We can be on the lookout to make a mental image or ask a question along the way and use all of the ThinkMarks as we read. Okay, so we're going to start. Hippopotamuses. Here's my table of contents. This tells us what we're going to be reading about. What are hippopotamuses? Hippos in water. Grazing, pods, fighting, glossary, to learn more, and index. What are hippopotamuses? Hippopotamuses are huge animals. They are also called hippos. Hippos in water. Hippos live in lakes and rivers. Water keeps their bodies cool. The reddish liquid protects their skin from the hot sun. Oh, I could use my L ThinkMark for something I learned. The reddish liquid protects their skin from the hot sun, almost like sun when we put on sunscreen. Hippos are too heavy to float. Webbed feet help them move in water. Webbed feet. Maybe that's a new word for you. This is a bold word here. Ooh, this is a bold word here. So that tells me it's going to be in the back of my book with a definition. I also can click on it and read what it means. Webbed. Having or being toes or fingers joined by webs. So kind of like a duck has webbed feet, that means the toes kind of connect a little like a duck's would. Hippos come out of the water late in the day. They graze on grass. Graze. That's a new word for me. Graze. If I think about what's happening in the picture and I reread the words, maybe I'll be able to get it. Hippos come out of the water late in the day. They graze on grasses. Maybe they're walking on grass. Maybe they're running. Maybe they're eating. Let's see. It's a bold word, so that tells me it's going to be in the back of my book in the glossary, or I can click on it here if I'm using Epic. So graze means to feed on growing grass or herbs. So it means that they're eating those grasses. So they're walking along and they're starting to eat those grasses. I learned that graze means eating. Pods. Hippos live in groups called pods. Most pods have 10 to 30 hippos. A male hippo leads a pod. It fights other males for females and territory. What does territory mean? I'm gonna put an unknown word think mark there and put it right on my post-it because I'm not quite sure what territory means. Fighting. Hippos open their mouths wide when they fight. They show their large teeth. When hippos swing their heads and bellow loudly, charge. Bellow. Bellow is to make a deep or loud roar, like that of a bull. So it's the loud sound that they make. Here's my glossary. I was looking for that word territory. A territory is the area where an animal or group of animals lives. So that tells me the territory, when they're fighting for territory, they're fighting for space, okay? So we did lots of things to find unknown words. Remember, when you come across an unknown word, you can put a question mark there and you can use one of the strategies to help us figure out what it means. So our first one we came across was graze. I wasn't sure what that meant, so I put my post-it. And when I was reading on Epic, I could click right on that bold word to get my definition, and I learned that graze means that they're eating the grass. Then we found this word territory. We put a question mark, think mark on that one because that was an unknown word. So we used the question mark to show that we have an unknown word on that page. And we learned that territory is the space where the hippos live. It's kind of like their house. All right, so today your job is to use your Post-its and your think mark bookmark to use and if you come across an unknown word, put a think mark on it so that you can use either the glossary, clicking on a bold word on Epic, asking a grown-up, or using the clues on the page to help you figure out what that word means. Okay, remember, tally marks on our calendar, and we're using a question mark for our unknown word think mark today if we come across any words that we don't know.